Hi Taurus, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, but watch them for all three, but so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, my dear ball gang, lovely to have you. Let's check it out. Alright, so this week you have the Devil card. Ooh, alright, so where is it that you know you overindulge? Where is it that maybe you are a little bit more addicted to something that you care to admit? And this can be anything, right? We can be addicted to hard work, we can be addicted to food, we can be addicted to sex, we can do drugs, whatever the case might be. The Devil card very often shows up when we have exhausted a resource or a coping mechanism to the point where now it's actually not doing us any good, right? This is the point at which what we consider, something that's helping us is no longer helping us. And very often, this card will show up very often the Devil card shows up when we can only see that there's one way to do something. No, it has to be this way. And if it's not this way, then it's just not going to work, right? Where is it? Dare I say, and use a bit of a cliche, that you might be being a little bit hard-headed or a little bit... where is it that you're being a little bit stubborn, right, about what is actually possible? And in all of these different areas of life, you might have convinced yourself that there's only one way forward, when actually there are other avenues if you just open up the scope of what is possible. And also, whatever habits or patterns you are addicted to or tied to might this week reveal themselves to actually be stopping you from getting ahead. All right, now, before we get into your different sectors, I do want to mention my tarot course is now open for enrollment. Enrollment will close on the 31st of January, so make sure you get in. There are only 20 spots. So if you want to be on that, you want to spend 12 weeks with me, you get bonus videos, PDFs, all of that good stuff. You know, Rafi loves a PDF. All right. And if I'm not mistaken, I think there's at least 1 or 2 spaces left on the clearing cohort, but that will be closing soon as well. So if you want to get your space and you want to spend time with me doing all of that good stuff, make sure you get in. So for your actions and options, you've got the Justice card, right? So look, this very often will show up as a commitment that we will be held to, right? So the Devil card with the Justice card, it also can show up as a commitment that we are either coerced or forced into, or maybe one that is, quite unfair. Because the Justice card is in your actions and options, this is about what you do, right? There are times in life where we have to make certain decisions, when you're like between a rock and a hard place. So it's like you're damned if you do, you're screwed if you don't. And any other option is just not possible, right? So what I do want to say to you is, if this is something that you have to embark on, do whatever you can to mitigate the circumstances, right? Now, an example of this would be if you have to co-parent, right? That's a commitment that you're in. Unfortunately, you're probably not going to be able to get out of it, within reason, etc. So you have to find a way to make the best of a bad situation. There may be more ways than one, or there might be another way to do this that you're not seeing or refusing to acknowledge. Don't shoot yourself in the foot, as they say. All right, now, in terms of the options that are available to you, maybe in some other area of life, or whatever the case might be, this could be that there is no other option but to go down the legal route. If that is the case, navigate it wisely and don't do it as a reaction, do it as a response, all right? Take some time to think your way around this. You can do this, all right? Now, when it comes to your communications and conversations, you've got the 5 of Wands. There's some kind of stiff competition showing up for you this week, my dear Taurians, in all of your professional or academic spheres, right? So Your Five of Wands with the Justice card, that is potentially a legal dispute. All right, there's no getting around it. I'm not just going to sit. If you are, and I know there's been a massive influx of new people recently, and I'm so grateful for that. If you've been with me for a while, I don't need to explain how I am to you. I will read everything, right? If you want someone to sit here and sugarcoat it for you and tell you every week that you're meeting your soulmate and you're ascending and you're if you need all of that, this ain't the channel for you. Just going to tell you that right now, okay? There is potentially a dispute of some sort throughout your professional or your academic sector this week. Now, part of this, and we've discussed this, I love my ball gang, but boy, when you guys are angry, that shit is scary, okay? And this is one of the things that I love about Taurus, like they're really slow to anger, but boy, when they lose it, damn, you do not want to see that ball charge, because it is, yeah. Anyway, right, this with the Devil card, be wise, you will have competition. Right, in all of these areas, I'm going to talk about this in a moment. You will have competition, but in all of these different areas that I'm going to discuss, it's really wise for you to think around the situation, because there's a chance here that once you get into it, it could just really take on a life of its own. Now, for those of you that are studying, you could see some kind of shift or change in the curriculum. You could see some kind of shift or change in the agreement that you have with the college, school, university, etc., whatever the case might be. And it might be one that you either dislike or you don't agree with. Look at what your options are before you make waves, right? This is for you, not for anybody else, right? It's not about, oh, don't be the squeaky wheel. Fuck that. Be the squeaky wheel, right? I love the squeaky wheel, probably because that's me, right? But before you make yourself that person, think about what other options are available to you. When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, this may very well be something that kicks off within the organisation and you might be dragged into. And the truth of the matter is, you might actually not want to be a part of it. You might actually like that. Maybe that's the part of this. It's like you're potentially drawn into it, but you're actually, if it were you, you'd rather not be. And I would say, if that's the case, keep your autonomy, right? If you don't have to be involved in it, don't be. However, it does look like there's some opportunity that's arising within the workplace. You have a lot of stiff competition. And for that reason, you have to navigate this in a way that's smart, rather than just going in, charging in, and all the rest of it. Observe the situation before you get involved. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, same kind of energy. You've got a lot of stiff competition here, but I actually think this will do you the world of good. Now, hear me out, right? Because you've got this with the Justice card, there's a sense here that you commit to building a team of your own, right? So rather than kind of sitting back and saying, oh, I'm just one person or my team's smaller, don't worry about that. Get to work on starting to build your own team. That way you create the space and the freedom really for yourself that you need by insulating yourself, right? And then when it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, this could be a family dispute of some sort that kind of just gets really overblown, overheated, and for no reason, right? Again, Mel Robbins' theory of let them, right? Stop trying to control everyone around you. Step back, let them fight it out. Once they've fought it out, if you want to be on hand then to do some damage control or to support people, that's cool. But don't get into the thick of it this week is really the message that you're getting. When it comes to your love and relations, you've got the Tower card. Okay, no getting around this. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this could be a stonking argument, all right? There's just no getting around it, not with these cards. What I will say, that Five of Wands does suggest that there's too many cooks in the broth, right? So too many, or whatever the case, I'm paraphrasing, I'm getting it completely wrong. Too many cooks spoil the broth is the saying that we use here in the UK. Be very mindful about who you allow to put their opinion in on your relationship, who you allow to intervene or to get involved in any way. I would be really conscious of that, because there's a possibility that it could be a bit of an issue. Right now, when it comes to those of you that are single, if you have been seeing someone, talking to someone, dating someone, I'm really sorry to say, but you might realize very quickly that this person is not as single as they tell themselves that this person is not as single as they have been telling you that they are. Watch out for this. Right now, for those of you that are partnered, there's another layer to this. Your partner might have a work or a legal situation arise this week that maybe you didn't know anything about. And it could potentially come to light here. Either which way, it might feel like something that you are potentially blindsided by. Now that you've heard this reading, you can kind of anticipate. And my advice to you is, don't ever watch these readings and sit and worry. Get proactive. Now that you know this stuff, you find ways to deal with and navigate the stuff that's likely to come up. All right, this is one of the reasons when I see these comments from people and they're like, oh, I can't believe you just said that. Like, I'm so worried now. Like, why are you watching this kind of stuff in general? If you're that sort of person, you shouldn't be watching these kinds of readings. You shouldn't go for readings. You shouldn't if you've been with me long enough, you know I hate telling people what they should and shouldn't do. But if you're the type of person that just sits and worries when they hear news like this, don't watch this kind of content, right? It's actually not good for you. If you're the sort of person who's proactive, who likes that heads up and says, right, now I know this, I'm going to start making plans and contingencies. This is how I use all of this stuff for myself and for my family, for my friends, for my clients. Now that we know this, what's the strategy forward, right? Now that we know this, how do we get prepared for it? Now, for your... before we get into your money and materials, if you would like a personal reading with me, everyone's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can handle it. Right, but if you would like a personal reading with me, numerology, tarot or astrology, check the link in the description box below. When it comes to your money, you have, okay, now I understand that justice card that much better. This week, you are getting an opportunity that financially could be very good for you. What I do have to tell you with the Devil card and the Justice card, you will be held to it, right? So before you just jump in and, before you see the pound signs, the dollar signs and just think, oh, money, think about it. Take a moment to really consider, because you're going to be held to this either by contract, either by expectation, whatever the case might be. And there's nothing wrong with that. You also have some stiff competition, right? So if you kind of say, oh, like if you sit and and ah about the opportunity, or if you take the opportunity and you don't do well, there's someone right behind you that will say, you know what, don't worry about Taurus, I'll take it, right? So you need to think about this. Is it right for you? If not, don't worry about it, right? It's not for you. And just know that there is someone that will take that spot and fill that spot. Whatever the case might be, there is more money. There is an opportunity to make more money, to increase your resources, but there is stiff competition and you will be held to delivering. All right, so just be clear on that. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, you might actually get answers as to a health matter this week that maybe you've been hoping for or been looking for. That I actually really like. It may come about in a roundabout way or a weird way, and it might even come with a dietary change of some sort. When it comes to your home and environment, the Knight of Cups, before you open your door and offer your couch or your spare room or whatever this week, think about it. All right, really think about it. And I know that probably sounds really harsh because it's not nice to see somebody in need, but because of this combination of cards, you just want to be really sensible. All right. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes out. Take care, and I'll see you soon.